Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel, and we are back with another Manchester United news show and plenty to talk about as United up their bid for Onana. We're looking to get a goalkeeper in, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about David De Gea as well. Is he or is he not going to still be a Manchester United player next season? We're going to talk about Harry Maguire, and not only is it going to be hard to get him off the books, but he's actually due a pay rise. And of course, we're going to talk about the ownership as well and the takeover of the club. So like always, get your thoughts and comments into the comment section below. Let's get right into it. So yeah, guys, nowhere else to start other than the goalkeeping situation at Manchester United. And obviously, as we all know, United are, favourites now to sign Andre Onana. We did have a bid rejected in the last week or so for him, and Manchester United have gone back in today for him. Who we got in the chat? The Ginger Ninja is in. Good to see you. Tommy is there as well. Bry is there. Good to see you guys. We've got Brush in on YouTube as well. People in, good to see you. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you hit subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. But yeah, Luke is there as well. But yeah, so look, Manchester United have gone back in to Inter Milan for Andre Onana. So let's go down through it here. United's determination, a £43 million bid for Onana. Basically, navigating the complicated waters of this summer transfer window, Manchester United are demonstrating their determination to secure the signature of Andre Onana. The English Giants have increased their initial offer to a substantial £43 million, amplifying their intent to bolster the goalkeeping ranks. The original bid of 38.5 fell short of Inter's expectation, but a substantial 38.5 upfront with an additional 4 million add-ons has now been offered in relation to Andre Onana. Now, look, I think it just goes to show basically how important Erik ten Hag feels getting a goalkeeper in is to this team, and it's been, I suppose, it's been reported by everybody. Fabrizio Romano is here saying as well, obviously working in euros. He's saying 45 million euros plus 5 million add-ons. So a total bid of 50 million. Now, Inter have asked for 60 million, but sources believe 55 million could be the right number to make the deal happen. Now, again, look, we've seen this as well, haven't we, with, let me just zoom in here a little bit, one sec. We've seen as well with Mason Mount, haven't we, that, they go high, we go low, we'll meet somewhere in the middle. And it's generally how, the majority of transfers have been replicated over the last few years, if not forever. So look, I think it's good that we've gone back in. I don't see us being or I don't see this transfer deal being dragged out that long, to be quite honest with you. I think we will I think we get it done pretty soon. By all accounts, if we look here, Manchester United have already agreed personal terms with Onana. The contract is ready to go. So it's basically just sitting down at the table with Inter Milan, thrashing out a figure that both parties are happy with, and then it's ready to go. And we've seen that with Mason Mount as well, didn't we? It was basically just getting the transfer fee ready. And after that, then everything went as smooth as whatever things are smooth. I don't know. But anyway, let's see what people are saying in the chat here. Who have we got in? John is in. Good to see you. Oshin is there as well. Irish lad is in. He says, definitely getting him. Think of the chance. Oh, nah. Oh, it's just, it just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? We need a keeper possibly too. And that's a good shout out of Oshin because we are potentially going to lose David De Gea. Well, technically, we've lost him already. Can we get him back if Erik ten Hag wants him back? Now, look, reports have suggested that Manchester United are still planning to hold face-to-face talks with David De Gea to discuss his contract situation. Club officials, however, don't think he'll accept being the second choice option should Andre Onana join, which he basically will. So, look, I think we are going to need to go into the market for a second goalkeeper. We are. I think it's pretty clear. I don't think the keepers that are there have the qualities to even be a backup, I would say. Now, look, the goalkeeping area, we've seen David De Gea last year basically play every game, bar the odd one here and there. But you get an injury to a goalkeeper and you need a backup that's capable. Like, if we look at Romero, for example, you know, when Romero was the backup to De Gea, he was probably the best number 2 in the world. You know, he was the number 1 goalkeeper for the Europa League campaign that we ended up winning. He was the ideal number 2. Now, eventually, he got pissed off and he wanted to move on and he wanted to, you know, further his career. I haven't heard from him since. I don't even know where he went, to be quite honest with you. So sometimes being a number 2 at United is better than being a number 1 somewhere else. But you can understand that people want game time. It's their career. It's the game that they love. They want to play. So, you know, we are going to need to get a second goalkeeper in. Whether that will be a goalkeeper of maybe an older stature that's at the end of his career, you know, maybe mid to late 30s, or whether we go for maybe a younger goalkeeper that's, you know, plying his trade, maybe a 21, 22-year-old, which is very young for a goalkeeper. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do. But I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with a second goalkeeper that nobody has ever heard of before, you know, that maybe is an up-and-comer. That's what I think might happen. Chris says we can go with Kovar as backup. Maybe so. Maybe so. I would still potentially like to get... I mean, look, it all comes down to what Ten Hag wants at the end of the day as well, doesn't it? Chris also says, not sure how Oshin likes Onana. Not a traditional keeper. Doesn't fit his 4-4-2. That's a good point. Irish Lad says, see somewhere today that Inter still owe United money for Lukaku deal from 2019. Someone said that to me in maybe I think it might have been you as well. And yeah, I don't really know, to be quite honest with you, whether Inter still owe us money from the Lukaku deal. They might, because if you look at Manchester United, and it was only mentioned last week, wasn't it, that we have 300 million in outstanding transfer fees. So it is quite common for clubs to stretch out deals. You know, we'll give you an upfront fee of 40 million and we'll give you, you know, another, I don't know, 30 million over the next 5 years or whatever it may be. So maybe that is the case. Again, that would be something that would be hard to find unless it comes out from a journalist. I wouldn't be able to find it. But yeah, if that is the case, then maybe there's something going on in the background that we're not aware of. You know, United are saying to Inter, keep the last installment of 5 million there, and we call it quits. Secure a keeper, then get a number 9. Yeah, we're going to talk about number 9 as well, because a lot of people have been giving out about United's transfer window so far. Now, I know we've only signed 1 player, but we seem to be moving quickly. And we mentioned this last week, didn't we? That, you know, as soon as maybe 1 signing comes in, all of a sudden it might have a knock-on effect where we can certainly get rid of some players in that same position. And then all of a sudden you move on. You know, a lot of people were suggesting that United are going from 1 transfer to another transfer to another transfer. But the reports that are coming out in the last few days have suggested otherwise, that United are doing deals in the background for a goalkeeper, maybe a central midfielder, for a striker. It's all being done in the background. So I'm encouraged by the reports. John says, really need to get some off our books and get more players in ASAP. Paul says, good evening. How's things? Keeping since? Good to see you, Paul. Thanks for rejoining. You're more than welcome again. Let's see what people are saying down here. Irish Lad says, Maguire, McTominay, Fred, Elanga, and a few more need to be moved on. We're going to get into some of that as well. Romero went to Middlesbrough, right? Okay, I didn't know that. Chris says, they still owe us money, but FFP will not allow clubs to do deals and splash that money. Kovar won the league with being starting keeper at Red Star. Okay, there we go. And Cottle is in as well. Good to see you, Cottle. So yeah, look, I mean, it does look like we're going to get Onana. It doesn't seem like there's going to be too much of you know, there's not going to be any snags to this, I don't think. I think the deal will get done relatively quickly. Like we said, personal terms seem to have already been agreed with United and him, and we're just waiting to see you know, what United go back in. Now, we don't know, maybe this offer that United have put in today will be accepted. You know, now we're probably going to get a rejection on it, and we'll meet them somewhere between the 60 million mark and the offer that we made today. So just throw another 5 million on top. So United have gone in with a 45 million euro bid with 5 million, or sorry, a 50 euro 50 million euro bid with add-ons included. So 45 plus 5. I think Inter will probably look for 50 plus 5. So again, that can be done relatively straightforward, I would say. Let's see what people on TikTok are saying here as well. Striker is a top priority, says Brendan. Can't go into the new season relying on just Rashford's goals, 100%. Paul says, do you think Mason Mount was a good signing? Yeah, I do. I do think he was a good signing. Romero is currently at Boca Juniors, says Donnelly. Bryce says, I can see we going for a young Japanese goalkeeper. Okay. Owen says, Owen says he's not always reliable, but would be a terrible day to see De Gea leave. Yeah, but look, I mean, we mentioned this last night on the show that we have to get over this sentimentality aspect. You know, as fans, David De Gea has been a brilliant servant to the club. If he decides to leave, then onwards and upwards to bigger and better things. Hopefully, you know. Let's see. We need 2 number 9s, says Bree. Yeah, we do, but I don't know if we are going to get to. I don't know. I think a striker, a number 9, a central midfielder, which we've already got, and a goalkeeper are our number 1 priorities this summer. And I think any further signings that we make, whether it would be a second number 9, whether it be a second central midfielder, whether it would be a defender, will depend on our outgoings. So I think goalkeeper, striker, and central midfielder can be pretty much done within the budget that we're looking at in around 150 million mark. I think anything more than that, we are going to have to get players off the books. Onana, what's my name? Says Thomas. Let's see. Mount, Onana, and Highland all in for about 140 million is a great deal. It is, Michael. And I've been thinking about this today as well. And I mean, oh, hello. Where are you going? What? Your flag? Give me 1 second, guys. You want your flag? Your Ireland flag? Here you go. Run along. Go on, run along.
You got the Sesame Street book had a flag in it.
Okay, go on, run along. Sorry about that. She wanted her Ireland flag. She's a little miniature one. Yeah, but anyway, I've been thinking about this over the last few days. And I mean, if we can get Onana in for 50 million, there's talks now when we get onto Highland in a few minutes. There's talks of him potentially anywhere between 50 and 60. We may get him. And Mason Mount has already been done for 55. So I think that's very good negotiating out of our board, whoever that is, whether that's John Murtagh, Richard Arnold, whoever it is. They have got an awful lot of stick. But, you know, but if we get Onana, Mount, and Highland in for less than 150 million, and then clear the decks with, we'll talk about it here, but you're talking Donny van de Beek, Fred, Harry Maguire potentially. If we can get them 3 off the books as well, you could generate another. Let me see. You could generate another probably 80 to 90 million from them 3 players and reinvest that then again into an Amrabat as your second midfielder, or who's the French centre back we're looking at as well, whoever it may be. I think that's good business. I think it's good business. I don't think we've been taken to the cleaners this summer. I know people are saying about, Mason Mount that we've overpaid. I don't think we have. I think he will turn out to be a very good signing. I think 55 million is probably good market value. When you look at Mason Mount for 55 million, Arsenal paid double that for Declan Rice. And while they might be different players, there's not 55 million in the quality between the two of them. I don't think anyway. So I think we've definitely got the better deal than Arsenal have. And I think if we can get Onana in for around the 50 million mark, if we can get Highland in for under 60, it's good. It's good business. In my opinion, it's good business. I really do think that. Let's see what people are saying here. Let's see. Oshin says, time waits for no man and sentimentality has no place in football, 100%. Chris says, if we had Onana last season, we would not have so many soft goals. Another UCC moment, classic UCC. Yep, absolutely. They've been few and far between the last couple of weeks, but yeah, so that was just random. She just came in shouting an horn, looking for a flag. Will De Gea get a testimonial, says Irish? I think he will, yeah, and I think he should. You know, I've been getting a lot of stick over the TikTok I made a couple of days ago saying that David De Gea is not a Manchester United legend, and I stand by it. I don't think he is a Manchester United legend, but I do think he's been an unbelievable servant for United, and I do think he does deserve a testimonial. He of course he does, but that can be done at any stage. You know, we can have a testimonial. You know, as what will happen is if De Gea doesn't sign a new contract, what will happen is maybe our last home game of pre-season will turn into his testimonial, and he'll come back and he'll play. You know what I mean? That's probably what will happen. John says, wait until baby Sancho is in the mix too. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm going to have to enjoy these lives while they last, guys. This channel mightn't be lasting too much longer with another child on the way. Let's see. Chris says, Amrabat, let's go. And Irish says, Kane has to man up and put in a transfer request. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Imagine we had Kane, says Irish Dad. Yeah, it would be unreal. I think we'd be instantly challenging for the league. Let's see. Dan says, who do you think is next one to us? I think it's going to be Onana. I really do. I think it's going to be Onana. I think it's the easiest one to get done. It's the more advanced. It's the most advanced transfer that player that we're speaking with at the moment. Chris says 30-year-old striker who scored 30 goals in all campaigns. Yeah, he's quality. Absolute quality. Dan also says next youth to establish themselves in the first team. It's hard to know because generally what tends to happen with youth players is they're played in a lesser competition like a Carabao Cup, so on and so forth, or we have a position that we're stuck to fill. And all of a sudden you have to take Marcus Rashford, for example. I still think Marcus Rashford is one of the luckiest footballers on the face of the planet. He's a brilliant footballer, but would he have got to the heights that he got to if he hadn't have scored them goals against, in the Champions League and then against Arsenal in the space of a week? I don't think so. You would have seen him out on loan. You would have seen him bounce around a couple of clubs. His development probably would have stagnated a little bit. So it's hard. It's a hard one to call when it comes to youth coming through. We will see young players getting a chance next season, but you can have the best youth player in the world not take his chance when he gets into the first team, and a bang average one take his chance and, leapfrog that guy that should be in the team, if you know what I mean. What's your chicken roll order? I'm not a massive chicken fillet roll fan, but if I did go, I would go with probably southern fried chicken, lettuce, red onion, cheese, and a bit of garlic mayo on it. That would be my. I'm more of a breakfast roll than 3 sausages, 2 eggs, white pudding, beans, all in a roll. Maybe a bit of hash brown as well, all in a roll. That's my go-to. Let's see. Dylan says, I set my alarm for the game in America in case I don't wake up. Yeah, so let me run through the actual Manchester United pre-season games, because there are some late ones. Let me see. I had it here earlier on. I was looking at them. So Leeds versus Manchester United is next Wednesday. That's at 4:00. So we'll be going live from about 3:30 for that. After that, then we've got Lyon the following Wednesday. And that's at 2:00 in the day. So we'll be going live for that as well. Then we get into the late ones because we're hitting American time. Arsenal and Manchester United, that's not too bad. That's at 10:00 at night. And that is 3 days later. 4 days after that, then we play Wrexham at 3:30 in the morning. Now, keep in mind, we're going to be live for all of these. Then we have the next night. Oh, Jesus, the next night. We've got Real Madrid at 3:30 in the morning. We get 3 days later, then we've got Borussia Dortmund at 2:00 in the morning. And then 1/4 we've got Lens. And then, of course, we've got Bilbao. That's going to be in Ireland, I think. So I won't be live for that one. I think that's the one we're playing in Ireland. So yeah, I'll actually be live at that. So really looking forward to doing it. We've struck up a deal with a shirt sponsor as well, who will be sponsoring the first 3 preseason games. My retro jerseys arrived today. We've got 3 retro jerseys. I'll let you have a guess in the comments which one they are, but we'll be wearing a different one for each of the first 3 preseason games. We've got 3 retro jerseys to wear, so I'm looking forward to that. Of course, I'll be giving you all the links and the all of that to who we are working with. So yeah, the United Community Channel has their first sponsor, so happy days. So yeah, really looking forward to that as well. But anyway, let's get down to the last few comments here. Let's see. Chris says, not a legend, class player, but not a legend. Paul says, I would like to see Maguire definitely leave before next season. When I see him on the pitch, my heart does be in my mouth. Yeah, you're not the only one there. Chris says, we need 2 strikers for sure. Need a Taremi type player, not high transfer cost. Oshin says, was it Midtjylland Rashford against Van Gaal? It was Midtjylland, I think, yeah. Zarl says Maguire should be the first one sold this summer. I do agree with you, I have to say. Mohammed says striker. Twig says fantastic order, fair play, ketchup and butter on a Philly roll can't be tolerated. What the hell is white pudding? Is that mayonnaise? No, so it's black pudding. You know, black pudding. I actually don't know what white pudding is. Someone in the chat can tell Chris, but yeah, it's like black and white pudding. So yeah, it's unbelievable. White pudding is the opposite to black pudding. Not being funny, black pudding is like blood pudding. Yeah, exactly. So black pudding is blood pudding, and then white pudding is non-blood pudding. So yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. You need to check it out. It might fall into your meanies category though, Chris. But anyway, let's see. So yeah, let's see. Oh, people are guessing here on the shirts. I'm not giving that away, but let's see. Twig says 99 away. Green and lime jersey says Irish lad 94. He thinks 99 home jersey, the invisible grey 95 and 68 UEFA Cup. First sponsor milestone, yeah, absolutely. John says disappointed it's not Teos. Yeah, absolutely, someday maybe. Anyway, let's move it on from all of this nonsense. And let's move it on and talk about Rasmus Højlund. Now, Manchester United are set to launch a bid for Rasmus Højlund, and it's going to be an interesting one. So this is coming from the Telegraph. United are preparing to launch a bid for Atalanta striker. The Red Devils have several targets they need to fill this summer, so on and so forth. Let me go down here. Where did I see it? So Manchester United are aware of just how much Atalanta value the Danish hitman, but the Red Devils are poised to act on their interest either way, believing that they can lure Højlund to the theatre of dreams by forking out around £50 million. So yeah, I mean, there we go. So United are in talks with Atalanta over Rasmus Højlund as we speak as well. So I think that's also good news. I mean, we have to say that is good news. And, you know, it's good to see that we're actually not doing one deal at a time. And, you know, we've seen last summer the whole Frankie de Jong situation where everything went all in on getting Frankie de Jong. I can understand why, because he's such a good footballer, but it also leaves you frustrated and panic buying at the end of the summer. Now, panic buying can go extremely well and extremely bad. It went extremely well for Erik ten Hag, and credit where credit is due. He went out and he got his Anthony's, although we paid too much for him. He got his Casemiros, these types of players. He got his Martinez's when Jurrien Timber fell through. All of this kind of stuff. So it's good to see that at least we're learning from our mistakes from last year, and we're not putting all of our eggs into one basket and dealing with one transfer at a time. There is talks going on in the background. Now, will we get him for 50 million? Probably not. They're looking for, I think their estimated value. Now, I always get confused because there's so many figures being thrown around. Some figures are in pound sterling, other figures are in euros. So I think roughly around 80 million euros they were looking for. So United are probably going to have to spend about 60 million, I would say, if we're going to get him. Now, we have been linked with other strikers as well. There's been talks of Gonzalo Ramos. There's been talks of Kolo Muani. And Kolo Muani specifically, United have been heavily linked with in the past few days as well. So there are options there. It doesn't look like we're going to be going out and getting a marquee signing this summer, but I'm okay with that because the days of, how many marquee signings have we had over the last 10 years and how many of them have worked out? I think Bruno Fernandes is probably the biggest marquee signing that worked out. Maybe Zlatan Ibrahimovic, you would say, but that was never going to be a longevity deal. It was always going to be a 1 or 2 season thing. And I think Erik ten Hag is looking more so towards the future here now. You're getting a young player in Rasmus Højlund here who is trying to make a name for himself, who's hungry to improve. And that's what you want. You're also getting a Mason Mount at 24 years of age who has, without a doubt, 7 or 8 or 9, 10 even very good years ahead of him if he can, continue to improve, continue to stay hungry, all of that kind of stuff. You're getting a goalkeeper in Andre Onana, who's 27 years of age, who's not even in his prime as a goalkeeper. 27 is young. So he probably has 8 to 10 years left, comfortably at Manchester United if he, continues to be as good as he currently is. So I'm glad to see that. I really am. And I think the fact that Erik ten Hag is sticking to his, I suppose, his game plan in what he wants to build in Manchester United. I mean, we have to remember what Erik ten Hag inherited this time last year. Erik ten Hag inherited an absolute shit show last year. And he navigated the Cristiano Ronaldo thing very well. He navigated the Harry Maguire noise when he first took over, whether he was going to be captain. He navigated that very well. He's navigated the Jadon Sancho thing very well. And look, it's still up to Sancho whether he comes out and plays, but Erik ten Hag done everything he could. The Mason Greenwood thing he has had to, deal with. And of course, the club being up for sale. So if we look at what he inherited and how negative we were at the end of the Rangnick era. My God, leaks coming out of the dressing room, player unrest, losing players for free. In the space of 12 months, he's done an incredible job. So he deserves to get backed 100%, whether that will be in the transfer market, whether it be buying players or selling players for that matter. Whether he decides to leave players out, whether he vetoes certain deals, whether he decides Mason Greenwood is to come back or not, he deserves our trust because he's after doing one hell of a job in the last 12 months. So I'm all for it. Let's see. Jason says there was a young bloke in Adelaide by the name of, I'm not reading that out because I don't know if it's bad or not, that I would have loved to see at United. Kid strikes the ball so pure and they are rockets. The name sounds like it. You're not trying to catch me out with a bad name, because the fuckers in this community will always try and get me with a name. So Jason, I'll take your word on it if you're being truthful about that name. I've never heard of him before, but I'll take your word on it. Let's see. Irish lad says, when the sale goes through of the club, United will be blowing other clubs out of the market. January and next summer will be massive. So yeah, I mean, and something that I was thinking about today was, if we don't get a marquee signing, okay, and a marquee number 9, for example, your Harry Kane or your Victor Osimhen, then, and let's say it is Rasmus Højlund, you would hope that the club will be sold by the time the January transfer window comes around. The way these fucking Glazers are going, I don't know. But if that is going to be the case and we have Erasmus Highland and we probably hang on to Martial, I would say, as a backup, with maybe Marcus Rashford can play as a number 9 as well. Then all of a sudden the January transfer window comes around. You've got new owners, hopefully Qatari, with a big influx of money. And then all of a sudden you have an Ivan Toney coming on the market who's coming off of his suspension. You know, do you go all out then and get your Ivan Toney for the second half of the season? You know, when you're getting to the nitty gritty, hopefully then, you know, you're into the knockout phases of the Champions League. Hopefully then you're in the, you know, the latter stages of the FA Cup. You're fighting for top 4, hopefully more. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's a bad idea just getting one striker, because January comes around, there probably will be options there as well. Trying to scoot through some of the comments here. The lads are still talking about white pudding. Nah, that's his name, says Jason. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I'll look him up. I'll check him up once the stream is over. Let's see. Chris says we need to build a team and base and then get our marquee signings like Kane on a free next season. Yeah, and that's not a bad way to think about it either. I mean, I would be happy to wait for Kane for another 12 months. I really would. Let's see what people are saying on TikTok here. Keep smashing the like button on TikTok, guys. Let's try to get to 5,000 likes before the end. Gets more people into the chat. Helps the channel out an awful lot. And if you're watching on YouTube as well, we've got 20 watching and only 14 likes. Take a second. Hit the thumbs up button for me if you haven't already done so. And of course, if you're new to the channel, hit the follow button on TikTok and the subscribe button on YouTube. Helps us out a lot. Brendan says, Skybet have Ollie Watkins gone from 7-1 to 9-4 to United or just to leave? That's interesting though. Sesko is far better option than Highland, says Sean, but he is going to RB Leipzig. That's been done since last year. My name is Bryden, not Bryce, says Jack. Fair enough. Who do you think should replace David De Gea? Onana, I think. Let's see. Would you rather sign a goalkeeper or a striker? Well, we need a goalkeeper at the moment because we don't have one. You know, so we are going to have to sign a goalkeeper, whether that's re-sign David De Gea or whether that's sign Onana. But I think we have enough to get both done. Dean says, legend man, Onana for keeps for us, and Mount, Casemiro and Bruno for a 3 midfield. Yeah, it is. It sounds good, Dean. Mount for 55 million or Rice for 105. Given what we have to spend, I would say Mount for 55. Now, we probably could do with Declan Rice more than we could do with Mason Mount. But the fact that we only have 150 million at most to spend, give me Mason Mount over Declan Rice, because I don't want to be spending all the transfer on one player. You know, we need to balance quantity with quality, like I've said an awful lot before. Let's see. Mohammed says, get a nice left winger and let on-form Rashi play through the centre. Yeah, I mean, that's always an option as well. Absolutely. Jason said he's 17 years old and Bayern signed him in the new year. Let's see. Yeah, Chris, there's no way I'm falling for that one. Can't see Watkins going from starting at Villa to getting splinters at Old Trafford or being a cup striker. Yeah, good point. He's coming into the kind of the good age of his career as well, really, isn't he? De Gea circumstances stopped us from getting number 9 earlier. And Chris says Emery won't sell Watkins. Now, so let's move it on to some outgoings. And as we know, Manchester United are looking to sell players this summer. And one of the main players that we're probably looking to get off the books is Harry Maguire. And reports have surfaced today that not only is it going to be difficult to get him off the books, but Harry Maguire is in for a pay rise, like everybody else. I think this is kind of a bit unfair that it's being pointed towards him, but I think it's in the context of the fact that we're trying to sell him. But he is due a pay rise for the fact that we qualified for the Champions League. So I'll run down through it real quick. Wasim, let me read down through that. Inconsistent. Let me see. The Guardian reports, however, the club may be unintended victim of its own success. So basically, Champions League qualification brings with it the prospect of exciting European encounters, the principle of club football. It also brings about a considerable wage rise for the United squad as the players' contracts dictate they will be financially rewarded for the third place finish and a return to the Champions League. However, this increase in wage is making it more challenging to sell Maguire this summer sorry, let me just make it bigger here. So it's making it more challenging to sell Maguire this summer as the teams prospectively interested in him are not interested in matching that level of contract. Maguire appears a player possessing a contract not commensurate with his ability. Jesus, these are big words, aren't they? A recurring issue at Old Trafford over the past decade. The Guardian details how Manchester United's captain will measure any prospective move against the potential loss of earnings involved in leaving Manchester United. It's unlikely, furthermore, Maguire's prospective new club will be one competing for honours. United represents his best option financially as well as competitively. So basically what this is saying, to dumb it down for the likes of me, is Maguire is not going to get the same wages if he moves club, basically. And he's not going to move to a club that's going to be in the Champions League. He's not going to, he could potentially move to a club in the Europa League with the likes of West Ham, for example. So basically, the fact that United have been successful last season, we've gotten into the Champions League, we've now seen players get a pay rise, it's going to be harder to get them off the books. And this is not just about Harry Maguire. This is also about the likes of Scott McTominay, the likes of Anthony Martial, the likes of, I was going to say Donny van de Beek and Fred, but it looks like they're probably going to leave. So, you're talking Martial, you're talking McTominay, and you're talking Maguire, 3 players who are going to get pay rises because of qualifying for the Champions League. In turn, it's going to make it a lot more difficult to actually get them off the books. So that's Harry Maguire. But in relation to other things, Donny van de Beek, according to Fabrizio Romano, is considering possibilities around Europe. There's concrete chances that he will leave this summer. So there is reports suggesting that he has been linked with a number of different clubs around Europe. So I think Donny van de Beek is one that will leave in the summer. I think we'll get decent enough money for him. I think you could get 25 to 30 million for Donny, which is good money considering what we spent for him, and considering his, lack of game time and all that kind of stuff. Another player potentially we could be looking at leaving is Fred. Now, we do know Fred has been touted at leaving for a couple of weeks now. United are considering selling Fred. Fulham are interested, but there are also other clubs interested. And again, this is coming from Fabrizio Romano. So, look, we are working in the background to get deals done, not only to get players in, but to get players out as well. And I think we will get a number of players off the books this summer. The one issue that I'm worried with is that we're not hearing anything for, Brandon Williams. We're not hearing anything from, Alanga. We're not hearing anything for Bailly or Tellez, an awful lot. Now, I do think they'll eventually go, but I mean, I would like to see them off the books as quickly as possible so we can reinvest that money as quickly as possible, because like we said before, getting a goalkeeper, a midfielder and a striker is doable within our budget. But once you go outside of that, and you're looking to get more players in, it's going to have to be from player sales that we generate that money from. Let's see. Bam, bam. Let me just scroll back. Let's see. Twig says, what do you think of the bid from... I don't know what that is. Sorry, Twigs. Dylan says, I'd say you would be react after the games in America. Chris says, Cottle saw that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, talking to yourselves. Maguire is going to be another Phil Jones, says Irish lad. I don't know. I think a big reason why Phil Jones stayed where he was because he was injured so much, I think Maguire, I hope Maguire has some ambition to actually play football, because, I mean, if you look at internationally as well, Gareth Southgate basically said to him, if you don't play football at Manchester United, I can't guarantee you your place in the England squad. And the Euros are coming around next summer. So if he's going to want to play for England in that competition, he's going to have to be playing regular football. So he's going to have to move. Oisin said United have no bargaining tool with Maguire. They want him gone, and everyone knows it. Kept words small for you, Jack. Thank you, Oisin. I appreciate it, man. If no EPL will sign Harry, sell him to Saudi or MLS. But, I mean, we can't just sell him. He has to agree to go, you know. His buddy will keep him around, says Dale. Irish lad says, see some of that crap that Maguire puts on his social media. Yeah, absolutely. The Happy Gilmore video, it was embarrassing, really, wasn't it? Yeah. Alanga has been linked to Turkish club Fenerbahce, I think. Yeah, he has. There's been a couple of small little hints about it, all right. But anyway, look, deals are getting done. Hopefully, we're talking to clubs in the background. We're going to hopefully try and get some of these players off of the books, because it will help us to reinvest that into the squad. Let's move on to the takeover, guys. And Manchester United takeover. Jim Ratcliffe has been speaking. He done an interview in relation to something else. I can't remember what it was about, but basically he's not given up hope in relation to the takeover of the club. Manchester United suitors are being very careful at negotiations at Old Trafford as well, says Fabrizio Romano. So let's just go down through this real quick. I had a few of the pinpoints here. So basically, what Jim Ratcliffe has to say is there is a process and we are in the process. Ratcliffe emphasized during a recent book launch, bolstering his assertive stance. We have a good offer. We have met the Glazers a couple of times and had a good conversation, but at the end of the day, it's their decision. They ain't making them anymore. Manchester United and these types of clubs, he suggested anyway, blah, blah, blah. It's like art or areas like that when you have a special thing and their value continues to pick up over time because they are very rare. He continued, I don't like throwing money away or losing money. It doesn't make me happy at all, but we aren't there to make money out of it. If it's a really good asset, it will increase its value over time. So, yeah, basically, Jim Ratcliffe is not giving up hope yet. He's coming out and saying that he's still in the race. The fact that he has talked to the Glazers means that in one way, shape, or form, he's done something that the Qataris haven't. The Qataris haven't spoken to the Glazers, and Jim Ratcliffe has met with them on a number of occasions, according to this. Now, Fabrizio Romano has also said Manchester United sources involved in the takeover negotiations at Old Trafford are being careful due to the complicated nature of the process. Now, did I have things down here? I also did. So basically, he's also gone on to say something, some of the things that Jim Ratcliffe has said. Obviously, we can't say too much because we've signed a non-disclosure agreement and we respect that, but there is still a process. We're in the process. We have a good offer. We read that one as well. I also believe we would do a good job and do it for the right reasons. We keep very focused on it. And then what Fabrizio had said on them reports, he basically said, at this point, all sources involved in the negotiations are being very careful because they know how complicated it could be to make it happen in terms of days, weeks, months. So let's see what happens. So yeah, basically Jim Ratcliffe is not giving up on it, as he shouldn't. He's well within his rights. But again, this is probably the biggest update we've had in 2 months. And it's not even really an update, So the any of the takeover talk that I'm going to be talking about over the coming days and weeks is just going to be small little snippets at the end of these lives, because unless we get some concrete updates, some real updates, we're not really going to be talking about, because it's just too goddamn frustrating. It really is. It will get done when it gets done. We all want who we want. We all want the Glazers out. We want them out as quick as possible, but we can't do anything about it. I'm not going to sit here and, put something up on the screen from a Twitter account that has, 3,000 followers just because they think they have a source. You know, I see this guy on TikTok going around saying he's got like 4,000 followers on TikTok saying he's got sources, and that, you know, every time he does a TikTok, he's saying it's going to be tomorrow, it's going to be Friday. He pretends to open up a laptop and look through it, this guy, and it's just complete and utter bullshit. So we talk about the news here, but we'll talk about the stuff that's halfway relevant, if not. So I'm not going to be talking about an awful lot anymore unless we've got some concrete information about it, because it's all bullshit, really. Let's see. So Chris says Qatar will pay for him after they come in. Let's see. Oshin says Harry will stay at United and throw 2-footers at Carrington trying to get lads injured. It's like Groundhog Day. Day 225, no change. Just F and sell and get out of the club. Yeah, it's like the start of Big Brother, isn't it? And I'm going to try and do the accent, but it's just going to go day 225 in the Big Brother house, and still Janice hasn't done the dishes, you know. Chris says Sir Jim is not allowed to really give away anything. Well, both sides have signed NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, so neither of them can speak until a decision has been made. Let's see. Cottle says, Twigs, I heard about that. Oh, yeah, sorry, I missed Twigs. Sir, blah, can't he... Let me read that before I read it out. I'm afraid to read out that name in case it's a bad one. But that guy, anyway, supposedly, Twigs says, is a big United fan. Let's see. There's no sources, can't be with the non-disclosure. Yeah, absolutely. Leave chance alone, you. Jack, new stadium or renovate Old Trafford? Oh, it's a tough one. It really, really is a tough one. I think I would probably lean towards renovating Old Trafford, but I don't know. I mean, if you were to build a new stadium, it couldn't be on the same spot that Old Trafford has been on. But the current Old Trafford pitch is not where the original Old Trafford pitch was on either. It used to be the opposite way, and it used to be closer to the train tracks on the Stretford end side. So, I mean, look, I would like to see Old Trafford be rebuilt, you know, or renovated. But if we're building, if we stay in Old Trafford for 2 years while this unbelievable stadium next door is being built, I'm okay with that as well. I really am, you know, or do something like build it off the back of the Stretford end maybe, and go that and leave the Stretford end there and have the Stretford end at the far side. So, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's for people on higher paychecks to decide. Yeah, so, but yeah, look, I think let's go through some of the comments on TikTok here before we finish up. Not forgetting you either. Stephen says, would Radcliffe's bid be something like City's bid for Rice, drive up the price for the Glazers? Not sure. Gary says it's a circus. The sooner the better the club is sold. Any news on Onana, says Lewis? Yeah, so second bid has gone in, waiting to hear back from Inter Milan. Bryden says, how is Jim a better option? Glazers will still be involved if he has the takeover. New chant for Onana. Yeah, we all know it, don't we? Highland and Ericsson, amazing communication. Never even thought about it with GGMU. Never even thought about it. Speaking in Danish to one another. I don't know any words in Danish, so. United don't need Qatar money, says Alan. Let's see. How much is too much for Highland? I wouldn't like to go over 65 million, Jack. Let's see. Mongan says, buying Onana will stop United from getting a striker. No, it won't. I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm from Ireland. Hope we do better in new season. Get new players in. Marcus says, Mason Mount shouldn't be new number 7. David says, when should we have an announcement? On what? On the takeover before Christmas, hopefully. But other than that, I don't know. I really don't. But anyway, United would have to take a serious cut if Sir Higgin got in there. I don't know if that guy is still real or not. I'll let you talk about him in the comments. Anyway, guys, look, I really appreciate it. Before we go, like always, do make sure you're entering the raffle to win the brand new PS5. What are we now? We're about 3 weeks away from doing the raffle. So make sure you're getting your tickets for it. Anybody that's on TikTok, if you want to get involved and be in with a chance of winning the PS5, the link to get involved is on my homepage. Go click it. You can get involved as many times as you want. Anybody on YouTube, the QR screen, you can scan that on the QR code on the screen. You can scan it. And the link is in the description of the video as well. So make sure you're getting involved in that. Any money that's made over the price of the PS5 is going towards charity as well. And I've picked out my charity, which we'll announce if we get over I think it's €420 is the cost of the PS5. So, Oshin, I just seen Oshin's DM come in on Instagram. Good man, Oshin. Yeah, good man. So you are trying to get me, fuckers. Let me just go back and look at this here. This name. I'm not reading out names anymore on this channel. I knew I shouldn't have said it because it just didn't. Sir, do you know what threw it, Twigs? Do you know what gave you up there? The fact that you said a Saudi tycoon who has a knighthood, sir, that just doesn't happen. And I knew instantly. I knew straight away. Fucking dickheads. Anyway, make sure you're entering the raffle to win the PS5, guys. Get your tickets in as quickly as you can to be in with a chance of winning a brand new PS5. Closing date is the 31st of July. Please smash a like on the video. Hit the subscribe button. We'll be back again tomorrow night, Friday night, last one of the week. Let's hope we have some good updates in relation to Onana. You never know. A bid could be accepted this time tomorrow. But we'll be back tomorrow night to do our final news show of the week. And of course, look, if there's breaking news over the weekend, we will of course go live for that as well. Cliff is in. He says hi. Appreciate it, Cliff. Make sure you're hitting the follow button on TikTok as well, guys. We're on the road to 40,000 followers. Give us a dig out. Hit subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. I do appreciate it. Until tomorrow night, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.